We've all seen a movie where everything seems perfect: the plot, the direction, and the supporting cast. But then, something is off. One actor's performance just doesn't match the role. It leaves you wondering, why on earth were they cast in this part? In today's video, we're diving into top actors who were just terrible for the role, highlighting moments when casting went horribly wrong. Robert Pattinson as Edward Cullen, Twilight. First up, we're taking a trip back to the world of Twilight, a film that became a cultural phenomenon. But as much as it captivated millions, one casting choice had people questioning their sanity: Robert Pattinson as Edward Cullen. Now, don't get us wrong, Pattinson is a talented actor, but the role of Edward Cullen, the mysterious vampire with a brooding, romantic personality, didn't seem to fit him. Fans of the book were expecting someone more ethereal and mesmerizing, and Robert Pattinson's performance often felt stiff, uncomfortable, and devoid of the seductive charm that was essential for the character. It's hard to forget the awkwardness in his performance, especially when compared to his co-stars. Despite the film's success, Pattinson's portrayal left many wondering if there was someone better suited for the role. Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes, The Dark Knight. When Katie Holmes was cast as Rachel Dawes in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, many fans were initially excited. However, when the movie hit theaters, her portrayal didn't live up to the hype. Rachel is an important character in Bruce Wayne's life, someone who's supposed to be strong, intelligent, and emotionally grounded. However, Katie Holmes's performance felt forced, and she didn't quite capture the essence of Rachel. Some critics even went as far as to say her portrayal was flat, with no real depth or chemistry with Christian Bale's Batman. Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Ah, Johnny Depp, a star known for taking eccentric roles and completely transforming them. But his portrayal of Willy Wonka in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory left many people scratching their heads. Instead of bringing warmth and whimsical charm to the character, Depp chose to play him as a socially awkward, almost disturbing figure. The eccentricities and quirks that Depp injected into the role didn't sit well with fans who were more familiar with Gene Wilder's portrayal in the 1971 original. Depp's Wonka felt more like a bizarre, alienating figure than a lovable chocolatier, and many people struggled to connect with his odd performance. While it was certainly unique, it felt far removed from what fans of the book and the original film expected from the character. Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Daredevil 2003. One of the most infamous miscasts in superhero history is Ben Affleck as Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. Back in 2003, the world wasn't exactly clamoring for a Daredevil movie, and Affleck's performance didn't do much to change that. Affleck's portrayal of the blind lawyer turned vigilante felt wooden and uninspired, and his lack of chemistry with co-star Jennifer Garner, who played Elektra, didn't help matters. The film, much like Affleck's portrayal, was forgettable. His attempt to be both brooding and heroic didn't hit the mark, and many fans wondered why someone else, perhaps a more seasoned actor, couldn't have filled the role with more conviction. Tatum Channing as Duke, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. When Channing Tatum was cast as Duke in the live-action adaptation of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, fans were skeptical, and they were right to be. While Tatum was known for his charm and good looks, he didn't exactly exude the authority and toughness required for a military leader like Duke. His performance was, frankly, forgettable. The role demanded a strong and commanding presence, but Tatum came across as stiff, lacking the charisma needed to bring Duke to life. It wasn't just the acting that was a problem. His chemistry with his co-stars was also non-existent, leaving the audience uninterested in his character arc. Anne Hathaway as Fantine, Les Miserables. When Anne Hathaway was cast as Fantine in the film adaptation of Les Miserables, there was a lot of hype surrounding her performance, but her portrayal left many feeling disappointed. While Hathaway won an Oscar for her role, There's no denying that her portrayal of Fantine didn't do justice to the character's depth and complexity. Fantine is a tragic figure, and Hathaway's rendition of her was too emotionally charged and melodramatic at times. The role demanded vulnerability and strength, but Hathaway's performance, although heartfelt, often seemed one note. Instead of captivating audiences with her pain, she drowned in the intensity of it. Tom Cruise as Lestat, Interview with the Vampire. Let's talk about one of the most controversial casting choices of the 90s, Tom Cruise as Lestat in Interview with the Vampire. For fans of Anne Rice's beloved book series, casting Cruise as the seductive, tortured vampire Lestat was sacrilege. How could the man best known for playing characters with a certain wholesome charm pull off such a dark, menacing role? Well, Cruise surprised everyone by delivering a performance that was, let's be real, downright awkward. Rather than embodying the ethereal charm of Lestat, Cruise's portrayal came off as over-the-top, and at times, he seemed entirely out of his depth. Though some viewers ultimately warmed up to his interpretation, for many, his Lestat remained an uncomfortable choice that left them questioning how this iconic vampire role wasn't better suited to another actor. Taylor Kitsch as John Carter. When Taylor Kitsch was cast as the titular character in the 2012 sci-fi flop John Carter, many fans were perplexed. The character, based on Edgar Rice Burroughs' iconic creation, required a charismatic and heroic lead, yet Kitsch didn't bring either to the table. His portrayal of John Carter, a former Confederate soldier who finds himself on Mars, was widely criticized for being flat and uninspiring. Kitsch, at the time, was mostly known for his role on the hit series Friday Night Lights, but it was clear that the jump from TV to a major blockbuster was a difficult one for him. Scarlett Johansson as Motoko Kusanagi, Ghost in the Shell. One of the most controversial casting choices in recent years was Scarlett Johansson as Motoko Kusanagi in the live-action adaptation of Ghost in the Shell. Fans of the original anime were outraged by the casting of Johansson, arguing that the film whitewashed a beloved Japanese character. Beyond the controversy surrounding her casting, Johansson's performance didn't do much to alleviate the situation. The character of Motoko Kusanagi is supposed to be a complex, powerful, and emotionally detached cyborg, yet Johansson's portrayal often felt too restrained and shallow. Daniel Craig as James Bond, Casino Royale. At first. Finally, let's talk about a casting choice that initially left fans shaking their heads, Daniel Craig as James Bond in Casino Royale. When Craig was announced as the new 007, fans were furious. He didn't have the traditional suave, debonair charm that was expected of the iconic British spy. Instead, he was blonde, rugged, and more grounded in reality. But as soon as Casino Royale hit theaters, all doubts vanished. Craig brought a grittiness and vulnerability to Bond that no one had seen before. Despite the initial backlash, Craig proved that sometimes the most unexpected casting choices end up being the best ones. Conclusion: the importance of casting. While these performances were widely criticized, they serve as a reminder of how essential good casting is to the success of a film. Which actor do you think was the worst miscast for a role? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more behind-the-scenes insights into Hollywood's most talked-about performances.